One of the most common questions we get is, do I have a valid claim for my car accident? And the best way I can describe a claim for a car accident is it's like a three-legged stool. You know, you have your stool. It's got three legs, and if any one of those legs is missing, well, then the stool falls over and you don't have a claim. And those three legs, when it comes to a car accident, would be fault or liability. Quite simply, who's responsible for the crash? In order to have a good claim, the other driver should be the one that has the lion's share of the fault. It's not an absolute killer if you have some responsibility for the crash, but there are some things under the law to take into consideration if the person who's making a claim does have some responsibility. The next one would be is even if you have an accident and you're not at fault, you have to have injury. So you could be in an accident and not be injured. Well, then that doesn't make for a good case. That leg of the stool would be missing and the stool would fall over. Third, you have to have a means of financial recovery. And quite frankly, in most cases, that's insurance in play, whether it be the other person's insurance, their liability insurance for their harm that they caused, or if that other person doesn't have insurance at all or not enough insurance, things under your policy like uninsured, underinsured motorist or medical payments. Those are things we can look to in order to ensure that you might receive some compensation. So when anytime somebody asks if do I have a valid claim, those are the three things that we're looking at. Who's at fault? Is there an actual injury? And is there a means to recover to compensate you for the harm that you suffered? Under the law, there's a theory called contributory negligence or comparative fault. In Louisiana, we used to be a pure comparative fault state, but coming January 1st, 2026, there's going to be a major change in the law. So right now, if an accident occurs December 31st, 2025 or before, it's what we call pure comparative fault, meaning that when an accident occurs, you are required to look at everybody involved. So if it's only two drivers, you look at both drivers' actions and you compare what fault, if any, have. So under the current state of the law, December 31st, 2025 or before, if you're in an accident and you cause 50% of the harm, you're responsible for 50%, fault. You are still able to collect 50% of your damages. So for ease of math, let's say the claim is a $10,000 claim and you're 50% responsible for that crash. Well, you're able to recover $5,000 as a result of that crash. Fast forward to January 1, 2026, we are going to change in Louisiana to what's called a modified comparative fault state. Under modified comparative fault, if the person who is making the claim is 51% or more responsible for the crash, you get nothing, zero. Right now, in 2025, if that were the case, even if I were 70% responsible for the crash, I can still collect that other 30%. So in my prior example, $10,000 claim, I'm 70% at fault. I still get the right to collect $3,000 for the damages that the other driver caused. Starting January 1st, 2026, the modified comparative fault rule goes into effect in Louisiana. And if you're 51% or more responsible for the crash, you get zero.